Retain gang, what's poppin', man? This your boy Tay, back at y'all again with another video, man. Peace, love, and abundance to everybody watching right now. I greatly appreciate you. If you want to support yourself or the channel, I have some courses available, and I also have a Retain gang community that you can join if you want to take your self-improvement journey to the next level. All right, so I'll leave my links in my description. But I got this video or this clip I want to check out with Redman. And this is what happens, fellas, when you decide that enough is enough. You don't want to be a slave to your urges anymore. You're tired of living in this low vibrational reality. All right, so without further ado, man, we're going to check this out.
Okay, I just quit, because that word right there and quitting, your mind start fucking with you. You might get around other people that's still doing what you're trying to quit from. So it's not just about quitting. It's about allowing yourself to get around from the distractions of what you're trying to quit from. Like if you're trying to quit from not fucking so much, right? But your boys are constantly going to the strip club and going to the club, then you have to discipline yourself and say, okay, I can't hang around these guys no more. And if they're not willing to understand that I'm fasting from it and I want to stop it, then I can't be these guys' friends no more.
And that's a fact, fellas. This is why I talk about isolation so much. If you want to become the best version, you have to isolate yourself from that old energy. So this is why you might not hang around the same people that you used to, friends, even relationships. If they're not on the same frequency as you, it's not going to work out. And it's going to be a distraction in your life. You feel what I'm saying? So we're not isolating ourselves to punish ourselves. We isolate ourselves to reset the algorithm in our life. When you do this, you start to attract the ones that are really meant for you. You find your soul tribe. You see what I'm saying? So that's what it's all about. Detaching from every single thing that was holding you back from seeing who you truly are, man, is a must. You have to do this on this journey. When you go through an awakening, when you're on your retention journey, when you're on this process to become the best version, you have to separate. You feel what I'm saying?
My girl and I broke up maybe 3-4 years ago. I was going through such a shit divorce that lasted 7 years. That played a role in why it took so long to drop Muddy Waters as well. 7 to 8 years of straight court divorce. I had so much on my plate, and I actually fasted 2 years and a half. No fucking, no smoking.
Wow.
Straight 2 years and a half. And it was the best thing I could have ever done in my life. Celibacy, 2 years and a half, no smoking, 2 years and a half. And it was the best thing and believe me, I wanted to. I was fighting it. I was fighting. I was sweating. I was in my house going crazy because I lived alone. I live alone. So I was in my house going crazy. I was constantly talking to myself, me and God, and we just back and forth. You would think that it was people living in my house, how much I was talking to myself. But
That's how it be, man. That's the battle that you go through within. See, a lot of folks run from that battle of their inner demons. So him saying he was talking to God and having conversations and just going through all this while he was trying to get rid of these habits, these addictions. You know what I'm saying? That's the battle that you have to face within yourself. A lot of folks run from that battle. This is why you always see them in crowds. You always see them around people. They can never be alone. They're afraid to. This is what you got to go through. You got to be real with yourself. You got to point out your flaws. You got to point out your strengths and your weaknesses. That's a scary thing to do, man. That's not easy. So while you guys are on this journey and you're going through this work, you're putting in the work and you're going through this process, it's not for the weak. You know, don't look at yourself as a weak person. You're not. It takes a lot of strength to do what he's doing right now. And that's facts.
but I made it. And it was the best thing I could have ever did in my life, Reggie and Jake. And it cleared out so much distractions. Now my reception is more clear now, and smoking to quit it is nothing for me now. Having no sex is nothing for me now, because it was all feeding the flesh. And that's basically how the world is turning now. We're feeding the flesh. We're feeding what's good for us, which is not maybe good for the soul and spirit. So once I did that, long story short, I was able to control how I move, what I like, what is not good for me, my soul, my mind. So anyone that's trying to just cut out something indefinitely, try a fast first, and then maybe try it with some friends so you can support each other along that road.
And guys, I'm glad he said that at the end. What he said at the end is what I really want to touch on, is that he got to a point after doing the fasting and cutting out the smoking, cutting out the sex. He got to a point where it was nothing for him to quit it or pick it up and quit it. It was nothing for him. And that's where we want to get to in this journey. That is the whole reason why we discipline ourselves. It's not to run away from our problems. It's not to hide from our addictions and our urges, but it's to cut them off, not need them. And you do that for so long. Now when you come back to it, it doesn't have any power over you anymore. Sex doesn't have power over you anymore when you learn how to go celibate for a long time, a long period of time. Any addiction that you have has no power over you anymore when you can go a long period of time without using it. So now when you come back to it, you might be able to indulge in that again, right? I'm not here to tell you guys that sex is bad. You shouldn't try to get into a relationship, or whatever you do is bad. But do you have control over yourself in that situation? That's the main thing that we want to understand. That's what I want you to understand. Do you have control, or do these habits run your life? You see, we discipline ourselves to get to a point where you don't need anything. You're detached from everything that had power over you. So now when you go back into it, right, you're free. You're free to make that choice. See, a lot of us, we don't make the choices ourselves. Our emotions, our feelings, our urges, our lower self is guiding us and making those choices for us. So this is why you end up in messed up situations a lot of times, right? Like the video I did my last video I did, where he was talking about how you got to let one loose. If I get to the point where I haven't released in a while, women get on my mind and I can't focus. That's a cop-out though. That's a skill issue. You should get to a point in your life where it doesn't matter what's in front of you. Even if it's your addiction, it doesn't matter. You have so much control over yourself that you can choose whether or not you want to do it or not. And if you do decide to do it, you can quit tomorrow. That's the whole thing. Sometimes when I'm with the fam or I'm celebrating, I might have me some wine or something like that. I'll enjoy the festivities sometimes, if I'm in that situation. But does that mean I'm going to turn into an alcoholic, or I'm going to let this control my life? Now I'm drinking every single day? No. I have that control over myself. I can do that one time and not drink for the rest of the year. It's nothing. Because I've already mastered cutting things out of my life. Being able to go without and love myself. You see what I'm saying? That's what it's all about. A lot of us get into these addictions because we don't have love for ourselves. We don't know how to love ourselves. We've been so dependent on other outlets to give us that love, give us that confidence, make us feel good. So when you decide enough is enough, you start to isolate yourself. You start to work on yourself within. You start to heal. And then, like he said, you get so much clarity. You have so much insight. Because now the muddy waters is being released. You know what I'm saying? No pun intended. The muddy waters is being released. So now you start to see everything around you for what it is. You start to see your life for what it is. I can see clearly now, the rain is gone. You see what I'm saying? You had all these distractions that was making your judgment, that was making your sight cloudy. So we're doing this to get rid of that, to cut those cords, and now we go back to default. Now we can start taking control of our life. Now we can start making the right choices in our life. Now we can get to bigger and better things, like finding our purpose. We gotta stop feeling sorry for ourselves though, fellas, and you gotta just put the work in. You know, you say it's hard to quit, it's hard to not relapse. I keep falling victim to my urges. Okay, so get back up and figure out how to not be weak this time. Figure out what you need to do. Okay, you can't keep making excuses for yourself or why you keep failing. It got to get to a point where eventually you get tired of that. You get tired of going through the same process. You get tired of making the same mistakes. Sometimes we got to just suck it up, fellas, and just say no. There ain't no magic pill that's going to magically make you just not have any urges. That's going to make it easier for you. Sometimes you got to suck it up and just say, you know what, today I'm going to do better. Today, I'm going to fight those urges. I'm not going to fall victim to them anymore. I'm not going to fall victim to my addictions anymore. You got to just wake up and say that and take it one day at a time. Look, I can do it today. If I can do it in the present moment, I can do it tomorrow. I can do it the next day. You're going to get to a point where you become released. It's like the grip that these things had on you, that grip gets weaker and weaker and weaker until eventually it has no strength to hold on to you. You see? So guys, I'm not telling you that you can't live your life and do what you do, but let's make sure that these things don't have power over us. All right? They're not leading us down a path of destruction. Always make sure you are making the choice yourself and you're not letting something else choose your destiny. Okay? So that's why I want to hit on this video, guys. Y'all let me know in the comment section what y'all thought about this and how you felt when you started releasing things out of your life. How did that make you feel? Okay, if you need to speak with me, I do one-on-one consultations, so I'll leave my link in my description and in my pinned comments. With that being said, you have a beautiful day, man, and I'm out. Peace.